Okay, so on these next two problems, it's just a bunch of a review in a way, and then they ask if it's even or odd, and so that's really the big difference. But I chose to go over this one because it has this asymptote line that we needed to talk about. So let's get started. So list the intercepts. We are only going to cross this axis because of this asymptote. It's never going to cross it. So that would be our intercept. I guess I can write it here. Our domain is our lowest x value to our highest x value, and since we have arrows on both sides of that, our domain is going to be negative infinity to infinity. So domain is negative infinity to infinity. Our range is going to be our lowest y value to our highest y value. Our lowest y value is going to be this line because it's not going to cross this line. So 1, 2. We're going to use a parenthesis because it's not going to equal it either, and then it points up, so our highest y value, positive infinity. So check the intervals on which it is increasing, decreasing, or constant. So real quick on this one, it's going to be increasing the entire time. So increasing, the interval is going to be negative infinity to infinity. It's not going to decrease, and it's not going to be constant because constant would be that flat line. And I'm going to show you real quick how it looks on this. So our range was 2 to infinity. On this, on which intervals is the graph increasing? The graph is increasing on negative infinity to infinity. Then the graph is decreasing on, there is no interval on which the graph is decreasing. There is no interval on which the graph is constant. Then the function is even, odd, or neither. So on that one, we check and we look at our graph, and we're looking for symmetry across the y-axis, which it doesn't have, so it's not even. Across the origin, which the origin's down here, we have nothing going on, so it's not that. So this one would be neither. Alright, quickly rushing into the other one. Intercepts, if any, we'd have 1, 2, and 3, and I did not declare my answers on this one, so they're already there. It's domain and range, so the lowest x value, negative pi to the highest. Our range is going to be the lowest y value, negative 9 to positive 9. And then our increasing and decreasing our intervals, so I can write them over here. Increasing, gonna abbreviate, then decreasing. And then constant would be a flat line, and you can see there's no flat lines on this, so there's none on that one. So increasing, we're increasing from here to here, because we're going up from left to right. So we'd have negative pi over 2, and this is going to be a bracket, 2 pi over 2, because we only use the x values. Decreasing though, we're going to have negative pi to negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2 to pi. Ran out of room there, but you kind of get the point. But do they need you? Give me a second. No, they're fine with you writing it like that. I was wondering if they needed a union or something, but this is good for decreasing. Then it's constant, so there's no constant, so there's no interval. And then this graph is symmetric with the origin, because if we move this over, they would line up, so it's going to be odd.